Hi, Heather, how are you?
Hi, I'm so good, thanks. Good to see you again.
Yes, we have just been really busy working on something that you put together called Celebrating Harmony with us over the weekend, which is a taster to what you're going to tell us about. So, you have put together a theory course for harpists. So, tell us about this course and what can we expect in there, and why do we want to take this course?
Oh, so many questions. Okay, so I have put together a course, yes. It is all about harmony. It's called How to Harp Harmony, Unlocking the Secrets of Harp Harmony. So it is a theory-based course, although I've learned that a lot of harpists are scared of this word. So the
Myself
word doesn't
included.
feature. Yeah, the word doesn't feature in the title, but harmony and chordal understanding is theory. But hopefully, this course will give people the opportunity to experiment and work with theory or harmony in a really practical, step by step, clear way and make it less scary and less daunting and fun and community and all these different things. So I'm hoping to break down those barriers for adult harpists um, with regards to their fear of theory.
Tell us about why we want to learn about harmonies and how is it going to be helpful for us.
Sure. The harp is a harmony instrument. It's not a single line melody instrument. Its whole makeup, like the piano, is a self accompany instrument. So when you're playing the harp, you're playing the melody, and hopefully at some point you're also playing a harmony of some kind. You're playing the left hand as well. So the instrument in itself wants harmony, wants you to know and understand harmony. And as harpists, a lot of us learn arrangements from other people, full compositions from other people, things that have been reimagined for the harp. And sometimes we maybe don't completely understand why or how these arrangements have been put together, or why and how a melody dictates harmony or asks for harmony. Because these arrangements that people put together, the chords that they choose and the patterns that they put in the left hand, they're not imagined from the ether. There is a clear structure that you can follow with melodies to put chords in and to make arrangement choices. Now, that doesn't mean you have to stick with that, but it gives you a starting point, a knowledge of an understanding of what a tune might need or want or benefit from with regards to the harmony. Now, you might say, well, why do we need to know that? Because we can just learn it from the arrangements. Yes, you can. You absolutely can. But another thing that I have been asked about a lot over the years is how I can help people with the struggle of putting things hands together. And I've observed people struggling with not wanting to make mistakes and being fearful about playing something that's wrong. It doesn't exist, by the way, but anyway. So if you help yourself, if you learn a little bit about harmony and the harmonic structure that exists underneath melodies, and you understand a bit more about why arrangements might be put together, this can help you to put your hands together because you have an understanding of what could come, might come, or why something has been put there. If you're wanting to move away from sheet music or you're finding sight reading something that you can't keep up, like you keep on pausing to read the music, if you have an understanding of what chord could come next because you've learned about the harmony, you're not as stuck to the music, or if you forget what the arrangement was, you can make an educated guess as to what could work. And also, this fear of doing something wrong, I've noticed, is alleviated with this knowledge because you always have something in the back of your head that says, I know this could work or this could work. And therefore, if you're not sure of what the other composer or the other harpist arranger put there, you can put something there because you understand how things work. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and it actually sounds really freeing because the as much as the harp is quite popular, there is still a lot of music that are not arranged for the harp yet. So I imagine if you have this knowledge, you can also be making your own arrangement if the music is not out there.
Exactly. I saw it just the other day in one of the Facebook groups. I really love this song. Does anyone know where I can get an arrangement for it or I can get the sheet music for it? You don't need it. You can do it yourself. You can make something yourself. Yeah, it's giving people the tools to be able to be, I guess, a bit more independent in their playing, play what they really want to play. Yeah, and it's fun.
Can be. What do we need in order to take this course? Do we have to have a lot of knowledge to come into this course to make sense?
No, actually, you don't have to have a lot of knowledge at all. You have to have a harp.
Makes sense.
Um, I'm not offering harps whilst people come, and it would be very difficult for you to join in if you hadn't played the harp at all. So this isn't a learning harp course. This is a learning harmony course. So whilst I won't be able to resist giving tips on technique because I can't help myself, I won't be teaching people how to place their fingers or what the string names are on the harp. So a very basic level of knowing what the string names are, knowing how to use your hands is needed. But if you think, oh, I don't even know what a chord is, or I'm not sure about keys, or you maybe struggle with pedals or levers, that stuff is all covered. So I'm a really big believer in building things up from a foundation and having really, really good foundations. So this course does start with the foundations. It does move quickly on. I'll give you the outline when you ask me for it in a little bit, but yeah, you don't need a huge amount of prior knowledge. Prior knowledge will help you. You'll still find it fun, but you don't need it.
And do we need a 34 string Foley lever harp to take this course, or can it be done on a smaller size harp?
It absolutely can be done on a smaller size harp or a double strung harp, pedal harp, lever harp. You can take part if you don't have levers. You can take part in a harp that's tuned into one key. However, we will be talking about different keys. But when you're given things to try outside the course, like to experiment with and things like that, I'll give a number of different options that people can choose from. So that people can choose something they like, and so that people can choose something that will fit their harp. So 22 strings is fine, tuned into just C is fine, pedal harp's fine, lever harp's fine, double strung's fine. What else is there?
Wire strung.
Wire strung's fine too, because I'm not talking about techniques. So yeah, come along.
Perfect. Tell us about the format of the course and what can we expect as we progress in the course.
So it's a 12-week course. Like I said, we're starting from the beginning. So if you have taken part in this weekend, the Harmony celebration, like I think the whole Talking Harp teams have actually, which is lovely, you will almost kind of go back a little step and then rebuild things up. So even this weekend, we noticed that some people have gaps in their knowledge that they're sharing. So it'll be really great because they'll get to fill those gaps as we progress through the course. But yeah, we have 12 modules. It's taught over 12 weeks. So obviously there'll be a welcome and there won't be a test. This isn't a test. This is just a test lesson for me to make sure the lessons we're uploading. No, there'll be a welcome video which will show you how you can, get to the community, how the course is going to run, etc., etc. And these are all the modules. So we're starting with pitch, scales as a sequence, and intervals. So you can see we are starting from the basics. So what is pitch? Because a lot of people use this word, right? But a lot of people don't actually know what it means. So we can start there. Moving on to keys. So I mentioned this. So you can access the course if you only work in C major, but let's be frank, music works in a lot more than C major. So we will be looking at different keys, how to understand different keys, why there are different keys, and how to access them. Constructing chords is one of the things that we looked briefly at this weekend. So that'll go into more detail about how to put chords together. This is one of my favourite things. Chord families and functions. How do chords relate to each other? Why they work in certain places, etc., etc. This is an important one for harpists. What you can do with the chords. What can we do in our left hand with the chords? So how do we take the chords we've constructed and make them into something we can play on the harp? That's what Module 5 is all about. So at this point, halfway through the course, the case study is me giving you a demonstration of the personal project and looking at it together and working on it together. And then you do your personal project. That's where you'll get feedback. Extended left-hand patterns, so how you can make the left-hand patterns more complex, how you can extend them into the right hand and kind of marry the melody and the left hand together as opposed to them being two kind of blocks. Extended harmony, so how to take your baseline harmony and make it more colourful if you like, or add more notes to it, etc., etc. Chord analysis sounds really formal. This module is really about understanding what you really like and getting to know yourself. It sounds like it's not, but that module is really important, and it's going to help you to really understand what you like, as opposed to saying, oh, I like that person's arrangement. Why do you like it? Oh, I don't know, it's just fun, or it's just calming, or it makes me feel, yeah, it's so pretty or whatever. And you're like, okay, but what is it about it that you actually like? What makes it pretty? That's what we're going to be talking about there. And then you're going to have a personal project, which again, you'll get feedback on. And then module 12 is going to be the kind of final wrap-up Q&A type thing. Although, if there's some big thing that comes out of the first 11 weeks, that'll be like, there'll be space for it to go into there. And then we'll move on to our weekend lead sheet boot camps in December. And that's the course.
That is very exciting.
We have a 1 hour live Zoom class every week to teach the course, live with me. And then at the end of the course, we've got a little kind of week gap-ish. It might be a week and a half. For people to kind of let things settle from all the learning. And then we have the lead sheet bootcamp weekend, which is what actually kind of sparked this whole course idea, was people asking me for a lead sheet bootcamp. And I was like, I can do a lead sheet bootcamp. Yeah. So in How to Harp, people ask me for a lot of things. And when people ask me for things, I go, okay, I'll do that. So I really was excited about doing the lead sheet bootcamp, which is all about learning how to work from just a melody line and chords and make your own arrangement up, which I think a lot of people would really like to do. They want to learn pop songs and film music and, things from different genres. But when I started making the lead sheet bootcamp weekend, I was like, I'm assuming a lot of knowledge here. And then I was like, okay, no, I'm going to have to teach people this knowledge to make sure they understand before I try and ask them to do the lead sheet bootcamp. And so the 12-week course was born, leading into the weekend lead sheet bootcamp.
Okay. And for those who are not in the same time zone with you, like myself, are we able to catch up on the content if we cannot attend the course?
Yeah, absolutely. So the course is going to be on a Wednesday night at 7:30 p.m. I've chosen that time because I'm not working and my brain will still function at that time. But also because in How to Harp, I do a lot of lives. That's my Facebook group. And I tend to do them in the evening, and people seem quite happy with that. So it seems to be a time that works for most, if not all. But if it doesn't work for you, you can still take part, because all the classes will be recorded, including any questions. That, so the whole class will be recorded, and that will be put on the Learners portal, which you have access to when you sign up to the course. So if you can't make the live, you can still watch the whole course. You'll still have access to all the handouts, all the resources, and everything like this. And you'll still have access to me because part of the course is also a private members only community space, which I'll be in answering questions all the time. So if you're worried that you can't make the live and so your question won't get answered, or you won't have access to me, you absolutely will have that. So don't worry. Oh, I should say actually also you have lifetime access to that material. So
Very handy.
also if you miss a few weeks or something comes up and you're not able to play, or you need to drop out the course at that point in time, you have lifetime access to all the material. So you can always return to it.
So for those who have participated in Harp Scotland, that will be the same portal that we're in. But this is not a pre-recorded course. This is going to be live, which is quite different.
Yeah.
And for the audience in here who have not seen Heather teach live, you should go to her Facebook group, How to Harp, and check out some of her live session. It will give you a really good idea of the teaching style of you, which I think is very helpful for us to understand if we're going to sign up for a 12-week course. That's a long commitment, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And in terms of homework, is it going to be a lot that we have to do?
So I don't think so. Okay, yes. So there will be suggested homework for you to do, like suggested tasks for you to do. And they'll generally be given in the form of little worksheets for people to complete. I think it helps solidify your learning, and I love a worksheet. And my worksheets look great. They're nice and colourful, so I'm sure everyone will love the worksheets. So there will be a little worksheet for you to fill in. Really, how long you want to spend on this outside of class is up to you. The worksheet will not take you long to fill in to get the kind of grounding of what's being taught. But similarly, even from this weekend, people will get excited, I'm hoping, and they'll end up wanting to play their harp more and explore these different ideas. And you can spend a long time looking at the stuff and exploring it and experimenting with it. You don't need to spend a long time in order for the information to go in, but you can. And then there's also 2 points in this course where there's the opportunity for real kind of solid personal feedback. Yes, I'll be teaching the course live, and yes, you'll get a Q&A, but there's 2 kind of little personal projects for you to do, which I think those weeks, they might take a little bit more time. And once you submit your project, I will look at everybody's submission and spend a good amount of time giving written and video feedback for that. So yeah, you might have a little bit more intense weeks there. And again, if you're worried that you might miss out on the opportunity for your feedback, I'm actually going to extend the kind of feedback project deadlines, if you like, past the course end date. So you can still submit your project up to a point. This isn't like lifetime project submission, but I'm going to give you more than 12 weeks. So if you want to submit your project later, I'll still give you that feedback as well. So it's quite a big deal actually, taking the time to do that. It's almost like your own lesson. So kind of like 2 little your own personal lessons within the 12-week course.
And that's very handy because I find that when I'm doing theory, when I'm looking at a piece of paper, I don't really know how I'm doing, if I'm doing it right or wrong. I really need to have someone else to look at it, hopefully someone that knows what they're talking about to look at it, so that we can figure out, what can we do better, or if there's anything that needs to change, right?
Yeah, exactly. And also the thing with theory is, or harmony, is that technically there's nothing that's wrong. You can do anything you want. There's no right or wrong. But there is things that other harpists will be able to follow better, and good practices within harmony, and there's reasons why certain chords work, and there's chord functions, and there's nice chord patterns. So I think when you're filling in a sheet, it's quite hard because it's not like I can give you an answer sheet and say these are the answers, because when you're making creative choices, it's your choice. But having that opportunity to actually give you personal feedback, so I'm able to say, okay, this is an interesting choice, but you might want to think about this chord and this chord for these reasons. And that way you can go away and you can say, okay, I can see what she's saying, but I like the chord I've chosen because, and then that's fine, that's your choice. So I think that's why the personal projects are actually really important within this, so that people get that personal support, and we're not creating these kind of like little harmony drones in the harp world, because we don't want that. We want people to be able to create the music that's in them and be able to express what's in them and share what's in them, just with a little bit of guidance and understanding as to what could work and might work and why, and then they make their own choice.
And we're already seeing a little bit of that this weekend, where everyone is approaching it very personally and differently. And there's no right or wrong, but you're right. Like, you can make different choices. You just need to know the reasons behind why some choices might be better than others.
Exactly. Yeah. And actually the fact that this weekend's been a community in the Facebook page, I'm really hoping that transfers over to the community online and on the course, because there's been, like yesterday, for example, we were doing a project where we were choosing chords. And I was saying, we're going to choose chords based on the harmonic structures of the tune. But immediately people were like, I like this chord there and I like this chord there, which was great. It was really great. And then other people are like, oh, I really don't like that chord. So I think that community is really fantastic, because it will give you the opportunity to hear how other people approach things, other people's ideas. Someone posted their homework well, I don't know when they posted it, but I looked at it an hour ago, and they'd chosen a certain chord, and then someone else posted below it and said, oh, I didn't think about using that chord there, that's really nice. And so they're feeding off each other, which is exactly what I'm hoping will happen in the course. That's why it's community learning, and it's live, and it's not kind of all a video series that you follow through. Because choosing harmony and expressing yourself through your music is a human, real, emotional thing, and I think we need to be connected in order to really access that.
So when is this cohort going to begin?
So the cart for sign up is open now, and I know you're going to give everyone the link to that.
Put it on the screen.
The sign up closes on the 29th of August. The reason it's closing is so that we can have a group, a community of people working through the course together, learning together, growing together. So we're going to have one intake that's going to run through the course. The course itself will start on the 7th of September, and it will be taught every Wednesday weekly for 12 weeks. And so that finishes, I'm pretty sure, on the 23rd of November. And then a little gap, and we have the Lead Sheet Bootcamp the first weekend in December. And that's just so that, people can do a little bit of catch up if they feel they need to before we launch into the Lead Sheet Bootcamp. So essentially running from the 7th of September until the first weekend in December. But as I say, it's lifetime access to all the material. So it's running for your life, Victoria.
Yeah. And it's like taking a university course almost, where you stick with the same group of people for the 3 months.
Yeah, exactly. And actually, a lot of it is kind of designed around, bounced off of the module that I create and teach at the conservatoire. So I teach a first year module, which is all about theory, that all first year students at the university take with me. And so a lot of my learning from developing and creating and giving that module over the last few years has gone into this course. It's just been tweaked to be more for adult learners, and it's for harpists, not multi-instrumentalists. So there's been things that have been put in to help those specific learning groups.
And if we miss this intake, where should we go to find out when you're opening the course again?
Yeah, so if you miss, I hope you don't, but if you do miss this intake, or maybe now is not the right time for you, then if you follow the link to the cart, there will be a button that says join the waitlist. So you can do that, and you'll be put onto my general email list, but you'll also be put into a special little group, which is a wait list for when the course reopens. But you can also follow me, and a really great group to be in is my Facebook group, How to Harp, because I'm in there sharing sometimes nonsense, but sometimes really good information weekly. And everybody in there is so lovely and supportive, and it's a great group to be part of. If you're in How to Harp, you'll never miss something that is going on with me. So it's a good place to be. The idea behind the course was that I would run it annually, but if the wait list becomes enormous, then I'll launch it again, because I can't have too many people on the course because of how personal it is and because of the feedback. So that's another thing I should say, is that I will cap the numbers. So if we reach too many before Monday the 29th, I will cap the numbers. So if you want to join, make sure you get along to that cart and get in there. That's just so that I can give people the best of me. And if I'm spread too thin, you're not going to get a great experience. So yeah, did that answer your question? It did, didn't it?
I think so. That actually, it's very Heather, because I know you don't like, mass produce big group things. You want it to be an intimate learning experience, and you're really good at listening to us too. And that's why we need to join How to Harp, because I'm pretty sure after I join How to Harp, I have bugged you about playing with lead sheet and whatnot. So listen to your audience. So that's awesome.
Yeah, it's really important. If you are looking for a massed harp experience, you're right, it's not something that I really do, except the Christmas collaboration. There's your opportunity.
Are you gonna do it again this year?
Yes, I am.
Okay, all right. Official. We're in again.
Yeah, you're
Perfect.
in again. Watch this space. It's coming soon, actually.
All right. Hey, well, I'm gonna have to make sure that we sign up and get in on this early, because if you wait until too late, you know what happens. No one play Christmas music.
Well, exactly. Yes, exactly. It's timing it perfectly, isn't it? Because if you do it too early, people are like, it's too early to play Christmas music. And if you leave it too late, everyone's like, oh, I'm not good enough for my video.
Um,
So I'm learning the perfect time to be doing it. But
so
yeah, that's another topic, isn't it? But
awesome. And if we want to sign up, we have put the link in the video description. And remember, there is a deadline for this first intake, and hopefully a lot of you are going to be there.
let's hope so. Yeah, be great. So the first one's always a special one.
It is. And I can already feel the energy in your weekend harmony celebration. So hopefully some of that will carry into the course.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Yeah,
Awesome. Thank you so much.
thank you.